Hi, I'm Laura Baldwin. I am a private investor. I'm part of a group called Golden Seeds, and I've invested in women-owned companies and other companies for about 10 years. And today we're going to talk about investing in the founder. And we're actually going to flip that a little bit and also have the founder talk about finding an investor. So I'm excited to speak to all of you, and I'm excited to be here with one of my favorite founders, Donna Letier of Gardenuity. And we're going to learn about Gardenuity, and I'm going to talk about what I look for in founders. And then Donna, why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, it's funny when you said private investor, it almost sounded like private investigator. And my gut is that's what you do when you're getting ready to invest in founders. Because I know some of the questions that you asked me before you invested in Gardenuity were not the typical by the book questions. It's like you really wanted to get to know me and the why, which is funny. I'm excited to be here today with you, Laura, and excited to share my perspective not only on the fundraising journey, but what finding the right investor for your company means from a growth perspective. And I call our investors partners because you're looking for partners. They're going to be there through good days, bad days, and I think that, all money might be green, but not all partners are the same.
So I'll give you a little bit more background on myself. So I have a corporate finance and investor relations background. And then after the company that I worked for was acquired, around the same time my father retired. And so I started working with him. And so we have a small 2-person family office. And then I learned about Golden Seeds, which I knew nothing about. And Golden Seeds invests in women-owned and women-led companies, which is great. And I knew nothing about angel investing. I didn't know anything about entrepreneurs. And so I've been doing this for about 10 years, and it's really been a lot of fun, and I have learned a lot from entrepreneurs. So in terms of what to look for in a founder, so when I think about when I started investing in women and what's happened over the past 10 years, things have really changed. They have, but they haven't. So at first, I realized, okay, I have to like the founder, and you may be familiar with the expression, you're betting on the jockey, not the horse. And I wholeheartedly believe that. And so when you're meeting a company, obviously they have to have a viable business plan. You don't just want to invest because you like the person, but you also have to make sure that the founder is completely dedicated to their company. And for me, like a lot of times, I can just see it right away. They eat, breathe, sleep their company. They are so enthusiastic about what they're doing. They can't stop talking about it in a good way, and they know everything about it, and you can just see it. So that's.
Let me interrupt.
Yeah.
Interesting. In 2021, Harvard Business School did a study, and they reached out to 900 private equity groups, and all of them talked about that it really is about finding out about the founder. That was the most important decision-making factor in actually writing the check. So I think that's interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, it makes all the difference in the world. I can't overstate the importance of it. And so the biggest thing is just how enthusiastic they are. And Donna is the epitome of that. You can probably already tell since we just started. But Donna loves Gardenuity. She talks about it all the time. When we met, it's funny, we were trying to figure out when we met, and I just dug up an old Gardenuity presentation from 2017.
That's right.
And then we were still trying to figure out who introduced us.
That's right. And of course, the company we have today that's actually on a growth trajectory is very different from what we thought it would be in 2017, which is not uncommon, right? I mean, a lot of people, if you're not prepared to kind of traverse and find the right market, you know what, you don't have the right partners if they're not willing to be patient and persist with you. And from my perspective, as Laura said, I'm Donna Letier, one of the co-founders of Gardenuity, and I do love what we're doing, and I love where we are today.
Oh, tell people what you do.
So Gardenuity is really at the intersection of wellness and gardening. We've taken the benefits of gardening experiences and brought them to life through product and through garden kits, and made them accessible to everybody no matter where you are. We really have a strong B2B platform that our COO created and has gotten us to where we can introduce Gardenuity as an employee benefit to corporations across the country, which has been really exciting. And I can tell you in 2017 that never had crossed my mind. We thought we were going to be a broader lifestyle company, and we've really narrowed in on the wellness aspects. And so it's exciting to see where we are. We've celebrated over 4 million harvests with different people across the country. And so it's fun, but it's, again, a reminder that if you're not willing to navigate the realities of the market and what the customers are looking for and be open to opportunities as they come your way, it's going to be a lot harder to grow a business. I think the ones we read about all the time are the unicorns. And I can guarantee a lot of these unicorns that we read about actually spent, 7 or 10 years in the garage not telling anybody. And I celebrate the unicorns because it makes it so exciting to talk about being an entrepreneur. But the reality is it's really hard. So when you find investors who are partners with you and who will help you grow and open up their network to you, then you know you've got a real opportunity.
And I think going back to what I look for in a founder is you want someone that's going to be honest with you. And I said the entrepreneurs that I like, they know everything, but I mean nobody knows everything. But if I ask a question and they don't have the answer, they go find it. They'll admit, what, I'm not sure about that, but let me get back to you. And they're also open about, what, we messed up here, but we're going to pivot a little bit. We learned our lesson, and this is what we're going to do next. And so that's so important. The other thing too is that, these are related, like if you're updating an investor, you want to give them the good news and the bad news. And the other thing is, what do you need from investors? Do you need connections? Do you know somebody who works here? Do you know somebody who knows X? We want to help you. We want you to succeed. So we want you to ask us questions. And if you need something, we'll do what we can to make that happen.
They're also trainers. So not only has Laura opened up her network for us as we were going through the fundraising process, but she coached us on how best to present the story to different audiences. And that's something that I think people don't talk a lot about. You have to adjust your pitch based on the audience you're pitching to. And when you have a really good partner like you were, the news as you were coaching us to make a presentation wasn't always good. We got better because you helped us get better. And I think that's somebody that it's really critical to have a partner who will guide you because they know what investors are looking for. And you know your product really well, and you know your service really well. But to present it in a way where people understand takes some finesse. And that's where I think listening skills come in very important.
That's so important. There have been companies I've invested in or founders that I knew where they refused to listen. And that's a recipe for disaster. That never goes well for anyone. One thing that I think is, I don't want to say rare because it's happened to me a few times, but sometimes when you meet a founder, you just click immediately. And that's what happened with me and Donna. We just knew right away. So when founders and
investors become friends, it's awesome. Matter of fact, I think I've introduced you to a couple of companies that you've invested in since.
Yeah.
And it's fun. We were recently at a symposium together, and when you've got an investor, we can be listening to the exact same message, but they hear something a little bit differently than the way you hear the same words because you're coming at it from different viewpoints, and it's really nice to collaborate on what this really means and what information we can take to help us move forward. And that's where the friendship thing comes in. To ask somebody to open up their network to you means they have great trust because you don't want to go embarrass somebody, right? I remember after you helped with one of our pitches and I didn't feel like it went very well. It was over Zoom, and you helped us get back on the horse and do it again a week later, but you weren't mad. You just coached us to be better, which was great. And you have to be open to that kind of coaching.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't help to to get upset. Like it's about, okay, well, how do we make this better next time? We can't cry over spilled milk. I mean, you gave this presentation, so now we have another one next week.
That's
so
right.
Now what do we do?
Well, and the prep work we do, some counsel that I think I've learned through raising money is every pitch is a little bit different. And so know who you're meeting with. Do your homework. Know where they went to school, or if you can follow them on social media, read about some of the stories they've liked or not liked, because you kind of want to know where they are. You're asking them to bet on you, but you want to bet on them too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's good to do that kind of homework.
Well, actually, Donna, go back and tell us about your background, like what your professional background, because I think that's important.
Okay. Really in retail, product development, and I was fortunate enough right out of school to go to work for Neiman's and had the opportunity to really learn under the Stanley Marcus era. He was not there any longer, but I learned through some of the great retail leaders of our time, really the idea of personalizing experiences. And that has certainly been something that we've infused into the company we're building today. And also the idea that tastes and trends change. If you've got a really good product that's supported with good technology and the margins are good and the numbers are good, you just have to find your right time to grow. I think that women a lot of times are really good at stretching dollars and knowing when to spend and knowing when not to. I think we are smart risk takers, and I think that has certainly helped us navigate through the pandemic. And you begin to appreciate little things. I remember during the pandemic, and I think you showed up here with little goodies, Ted Lasso cookies for everybody. And those little things make the journey so much better. It's those things that you remember that you don't think you will. But let your investors help you build the right team. Let them, I am all about partnerships. So if, I have an opportunity, if I'm interviewing somebody and one of our investors has the chance to meet them, I want their opinion too, because you can get so lost in your daily to-dos that sometimes you need an outside perspective.
Well, so I bring that up because of your experience that really informed your creation of Gardenuity. So you had learned a lot of lessons, and so you had failed. I mean, and so you had the failures.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think founders, I can't fail. Well, you're gonna fail. It may not be your entire company, but there are gonna be things, and you have to look at it as a learning opportunity because it's inevitable. It's just gonna happen. One thing I want you to talk about is in terms of strategy and pivoting, how the pandemic really changed the direction of this company in a great way.
Well, we had Doug Platts, our COO, had come on board before the pandemic, and we had worked with and developed a relationship with Cigna actually. And so now if you have Cigna insurance, you can use Cigna wellness dollars to purchase one of our gardens. And Doug and I had been meeting with Cigna. We had a whole bunch of business lined up. Pandemic hit, and all that got turned off quickly. So we quickly turned on our e-commerce, direct to consumer, and sent everybody home except for my co-founder Julie Eggers and I with Doug, and we turned our office into a shipping station. So we shipped everything from here. It's a great way to lose 10 pounds. But it's also a great way to build that respect and camaraderie. And we learned what customers were looking for, what the aha moment was. The three of us were touching the product every single solitary day, learning processes. And then as the pandemic kind of softened, Doug began really putting plans and processes into place to grow our channel partner program. And so we didn't change our mission. We didn't change the product. It's always improving, but what we did change was let's focus on where the growth opportunities are. As a company that really is only about 4 years old, we are now in a position that we've got the capital and we've got the strategic plans in place and the people to grow, but it took a long time to get here. I mean, we played around with a lot of ideas that didn't work, and you know, you just have to move on. You have to figure it out, and I'm doing things I never thought I would have the skill set to do, and you just learn from it.
But you recognized that something wasn't going to work, and you said, okay, let's scratch that and move on. You didn't, say, no, we're going to make this work. You were able to move on. Yeah.
We really, and so 80% of our business is channel partners, which is B2B, 20% is e-commerce. We're getting ready to launch a Gardenuity for Business lead generation site in the next 6 weeks. We're revamping our e-commerce site because we have patented technology that has to be part of the e-commerce. We've really taken some time. We stretched our dollars so that we could figure out exactly what the strategy was to grow, and now we're using the dollars that we've raised to push go.
And I think another thing that comes from the founder is creating the culture. And this is a group of people who all get along well, they work hard. It's, and I've seen the team grow over the past 4 or 5 years, and, it's always, probably because we're surrounded by so many plants, but it's always happy in here.
Well, that's something that's really important for founders to think about. Get your leadership team right, because you're going to have bad days, and make sure you have people who, when you're having a bad day, can pull you up. People who can say, we do have a culture where if we make a mistake or if we say something ridiculous, everybody feels comfortable saying, yeah, I don't think so. And I think that that's really important. And we do work hard. And I think our culture is growing, no pun intended, and it's really a reflection of everybody who's a part of the team.
Okay, so Donna, it's your turn. Oh, actually, you've been talking a lot, so maybe.
Well, I'm just excited to have the chance to share kind of what I've learned. The entrepreneurial journey is really exciting. It's got lots of ups and downs. The imposter syndrome is real. I mean, you've talked me off a ledge a few times. And a couple of them, I should have been on the ledge. I mean, one presentation did not go well. And you've also seen me so nervous that I was like sweating at, I think it was at neighborhood.
Yes, and it was, and in my mind, Donna was so nervous, and I said, why are you nervous? This is ridiculous. Donna is an amazing public speaker, as you can see, and when she starts talking about Gardenuity, she lights up. She's so excited. She wants to tell you all about it. And this was a room of 100 people maybe?
Yeah, I don't know why.
And you did great.
It was
amazing.
Yeah. It's those opportunities that you get to celebrate big wins and little wins with those that you're growing with. And so, Julie and Doug and I and the entire Gardenuity team are appreciative of our investor partners, and we call them partners. There's nobody I'm not afraid to call and say, okay, can you introduce me to so-and-so? Or can you figure out how I can get in this store? And I think that that's something that's really important. You also have to have the confidence to walk away from investors that aren't the right fit.
Has that happened to you a lot?
It's happened a few times. And when I shared with a couple of our investors that made some introductions, or we just told them about a meeting we were having and how did it go. And, one in particular, we came back and they were very interested in doing a really large part of the round, and our feeling was that they were icky.
That's a technical term.
I know, and every good investor said, walk away. I mean, they got it right away, which was really refreshing, because these are people that you're going to grow this company with, and it doesn't always happen according to every benchmark you lay out at the very beginning. You have to be patient, persistent, and be with people that you genuinely respect. Mm-hmm. It's an exciting time.
Yeah, and that's why when I find founders, I have some other ones besides Donna that I just click with. I mean, it's really fun. You know, we go to happy hour sometimes, and we were at the symposium last week, and comparing notes, and it really is just a lot of fun. And I can call and get an update, or she can call and run something by me, and it's really just a lot of fun.
Well, and so I have to say, for my closing remarks, thank you for helping me cultivate resilience, because I think that is something that every founder needs, and I think to have somebody who helps you cultivate that is a gift. So thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. But I think that's a good lesson for founders. If you are nervous about something, or if you're need someone to talk you off the ledge, then talk to one of your investors that you trust. And that's why I think it's important to at least have a couple. I mean, not every investor is going to be close to you, and it's we are here to make money, but to the extent that you really click with someone and really enjoy working with them, it really does make a big difference, and it makes it a lot more fun for me too.
Absolutely.